This here is one of Rotolight's newest fixtures, the AEOS 2. It's actually using the exact same diodes found in their top-of-the-line Titan lights, which means you're getting an excellent feature set coupled with great performance not only at a lower price point, but also in a form factor that makes this one of the most portable lights I've ever used in its class. The AEOS 2 is a circular, full-color RGB WW LED panel. It measures roughly 1 foot across, so practically it's a 1x1 panel. Pretty comfortable size for panels like this, and within this size we've got 108 groups of diodes packed in, each group having individual R, G, B, and 2 white diodes. I was quite amazed at how thin they were able to make this light. It really does strike you when you see one in person, but when I picked it up, I just went from being amazed to simply gobsmacked at how little this light weighs. With the metal yoke, it's about 1.9 kilos, but if you remove the yoke, the fixture itself comes in at under 1.5 kilos. For a light of this size, it means you'll barely feel any heft when picking it up. It also makes it such a pleasure to travel with because it doesn't weigh you down. There is a 1/4 inch thread on the top and bottom of the light, so if you wanted to mount this onto a stand without the yoke, you could. The 2 silver handles on the back here are also one of my favorite design elements on the AEOS 2. Most LED panels don't even bother giving you anything to grab onto. The 2 handles on the back here might seem minor, but I am absolutely in love with them. For a light of this size, the AEOS 2 does punch out an impressive amount of output, especially in the middle of its CCT range. Well, that's in continuous output mode. You actually gain 1 extra stop of brightness when you use it as a flash, just like the flagship Titan lights. It's even got an Chrome Skyport receiver built in, so if you've got a compatible transmitter, the AEOS 2 triggers out of the box. You could also use other systems by running them through the 3.5mm sync port on the back of the light. I think it is really cool that you have the ability to squeeze even more output out of this light in CCT mode when you're using it for stills. If you're on battery, using this light as a strobe will also grant you a much longer shooting time as opposed to using it as a continuous light, so that can be a value add in another form, but that's on top of all the perks of being an RGB WW LED light. It's a full color strobe with adjustable color temperature that's got high speed sync and 0 recycle time. And on the video side of things, the AEOS 2 is also equipped with Rotolight's incredible collection of effects. It's got the effects you would expect to find on an LED light, but I quite specifically like the one where you can dial in a fade duration, then trigger the AEOS 2 to fade in or out at a customized speed. This light's also got what I think is the biggest filter library I've seen on any light. You've got 2,500 gels to choose from, and if you go through the menus, it just feels like an endless supply of filters at your disposal. I also love how incredibly accurate the AEOS 2 is able to reproduce color temperatures, especially at the extremely common positions like 3200 Kelvin, 5600 Kelvin, and 6500 Kelvin. It comes with a diffusion dome that does a great job at blending all those individual diodes together into one big, soft source. But it impressively does so without cutting down much of the output at all. You'll also notice a port labeled diffusion on the bottom of the light. That's designed to be used with their new smart softbox accessory. Imagine that magical electronically variable diffusion panel in front of the Titan lights, but now in the form of an attachment for the AEOS 2. You can see Rotolight's really generously including a lot of the tech from the flagship Titan lights and offering them in the AEOS 2. But one of my all-time favorite elements is the super intuitive touchscreen user interface we first saw on the Titans. But when I first saw the size of the touch panel on the back of the AEOS 2, I thought there was no way they could make this work. It's a smaller light, so naturally it's also got a smaller display. I thought it might have been too small to operate a touch interface comfortably, but boy was I wrong. Somehow, Rotolight was able to preserve that incredibly pleasant experience operating the entire light from a touchscreen this small. It's really easy to navigate between modes and dial your settings in with incredible speed. Imagine how much more time it would take to dial in your HSI values if it hadn't been for this touchscreen. I cannot overstate how valuable this touchscreen is. It's incredibly powerful when you combine it with the 2 control knobs. I used the touch panel to make a fast range adjustment, then turn the knobs to precisely fine-tune the value. And did you know you can actually press both the knobs in to lock the touchscreen? These numbers you see at the top of the display, these are preset based. You've got 10 for each mode, and this is an absolute lifesaver of a feature if you ask me, because it saves you so much time. You tap and hold on a number to commit your current settings into that preset. You can then tap on it anytime again to recall those settings. Now, being able to recall presets, I think, is a feature that's not common enough on LED lights. I'm really glad that AEOS 2 has it, and they're also really generous with the number of slots available for storing your presets in. The AEOS 2 is also one of the first Rotolight products to have its own native Android and iOS app. This is an early review, so as of filming, the apps are not yet available to download from the App Store, but it has been designed to be an extremely familiar experience. It mirrors the UI on the back of the light, only optimized to take advantage of your phone's larger display. So with this, there is now the ability to remotely control your AEOS 2 from your phone. If you're using this light out in the field, chances are you'll be powering the light off batteries. The V-mount plate is integrated directly on the back of the light, so you can just snap on a battery and it's alive. No need for any external power supply. On full blast, at its peak brightness, a fully charged 155 watt-hour V-mount gave me an hour and a half of continuous output. You would be getting even longer runtimes if you weren't driving the light at its absolute maximum, but for me that's a perfectly respectable runtime off of one single V-mount battery. With the AEOS 2, Rotolight once again created an incredibly versatile LED light that's a joy to operate, packed with features, yet remarkably lightweight. It's a very well thought out product that clearly has both the video shooter and stills photographer in mind. So if you're looking to pick up one of these for yourself, I've got purchase links down in the description box, and while you're checking those out, I'll be seeing you in one of my other videos.